my God, so bitch, what the hell's going on out there? This is Sammy Salami straight out of Miami, and I'm not too happy tonight. Oh my God, look what the hell we got going on over here. We got us a brand new hat. My friend Pete said I've been bitching and complaining so long. He went and bought me a brand new hat. He said, you don't need that beautiful hat no more because you're not... God, I'm about ready to cry over this situation. Look at this hat that my friend Pete picked me up. It's not a beautiful hat. It's a hat that says hell. I look like a blue-collar worker guy. You know, at least he could have had something up on the top here that said badass or keep on trucking or something to keep it going, right? But no, he has to give me a hat that looks like ugly hat, top hat. But this ain't about my hat. It's never about my hat. Because it's always about something else, kind of like right now today. I'm editizing this video. We got a lot of footage out there on this video, and I'm going to have to cut it short just a little bit. Because the situation is that my friend Pete ran into a pickle of a deal, and he's going to have to, we're going to have to cut it short. I'm sorry I can't concentrate properly with this hat that I'm wearing. It's just so ugly. It's an ugly hat. He says I gotta wear it though every now and then to, make everybody know that he's a nice guy and he did something for me. But we got this job we're doing on this LS2 deal, and the situation is he bought some parts over here at this hot rod shop called MR or something like that, Muscle Rod. Beautiful place to buy parts. But the situation is some of the parts didn't work. So what we're going to do to cut through the chase is we're going to go ahead and kind of splice and dice, and we're going to pick up my friend Pete, literally trying to put some of this stuff together, and it just ain't working out right. Kind of like my hat right here. It's just a hell of a situation that says, God, that's ugly, and it really makes me look like a different person. I don't like it. I really don't like it, but there's nothing I can do. My hat is like my hat, you know what I'm saying? I gotta find me a cleaners to clean my beautiful hat back up because I can't wear a hat like this. I look ugly with a hat that's saying son of a bitch. Do me a square deal before I get some more rounds going, you know what I'm saying out there? God, son of a bitch. Oh my God. I gotta get back to editing these videos so you can watch them. But let's pick up where my friend Pete's trying to put this line together for this LS2. We're gonna cut through the chase and all the mumbo jumbo where he has to do something different because the parts that he purchased didn't work out properly. Because my friend Pete's a square guy, and if something doesn't work out right when he's advertising for it, he's going to show you that it doesn't work right. Kind of like showing you that ugly hat right there. God, that's an ugly hat. Could have put keep on trucking on there, badass or something. Maybe he could have put Miami on the hat for my Sammy Slammy. God, son of a bitch. Oh my God, it's a pain in the ass working here, but you know what? I love it. I love it. Sammy Slammy straight out of... I don't know what the hell I'm out of with this thing on, but I'm here, and we're doing what we gotta do to get her done. Do it right. Because if you ain't doing it right, you definitely ain't doing it at all.
Welcome to D.I.Y. Automotive School with my friend Pete and Minnie, the body shop girl. It's everything you need to know about cars and more.
Okay, I think I figured this out. What you got to do on this particular pressure line is you got to reveal the plastic end. That's kind of a bitch to do. Remember I was telling you about specialty tools? Well, that's where the specialty tool comes in handy, but we're not doing it with special tools. We're doing this at home. So maybe musclerods.com ought to think about that before he, ships this out. So what we're looking at here, let's go ahead and figure this out. Here's one right here. I'm going to take this sleeve, I'm going to put it on this right here to where it fits on there, just like that. Alright, do you see what I'm doing there? And then, before I do that though, this actually goes over this, and you have to push that on there, just like that. And then this is kind of where it gets tricky, because you got to figure out how far we got to go down. So you can see just by that right there, we got to cut about approximately half of that off. So we're going to take our wire cutters to do this with, because we're doing this at home, just like that. Okay, and then this is going to go on here like this, and I believe this is how it goes. It's still a little bit high, so let's go ahead and cut some more off. I think this is bullshit, and I don't like this system. I am not a fan of this pressure line system that we are using here. So that would go on there like that, and then you would take your fitting and it goes inside the hose. So we're going to have to do this all at the same time, because it's, there we go. Alright, so it's bending my hose as I'm putting it on, which I don't like that, but okay, this isn't going, okay, there you go. So then once you get it in like that, then we can screw it all together. So let's see if all this will screw together as we put this together like I think it goes. Because this actually is kind of hokey. I don't like this, and it's kind of a pain in the ass, to be honest with you. So I can't even get this in there far enough. Okay, I got to have some pliers to do this with. Like I said, there's probably tools out there that are designed for this stuff, but this is not going together. So this is where we're kind of fucked. I don't like it. Either I'm doing something wrong here, and I'm sure there's viewers out there that are going to tell me that I'm doing it wrong, or it's just a fucked up deal, and I don't like it. So one of the two. This is really pissing me off, because I wanted to get this done. And this is a good example. The reason I'm showing you all this is because I fuck up too, just like everybody else. And I run into brick walls just like you do. And this is a situation that's going to happen when you're doing this, okay? Not everything is hunky-dory and let's just throw it together like a little plastic model. So I'm going to have to figure out what I'm going to do about these fittings and how I can get all this to work. I don't like this setup. This is bullshit. I would prefer to use this, all right, a high pressure line such as this size here that has these type of fittings on them. All right, if we look right here, the difference, okay, where you screw this on the hose and then this gets screwed into here and it opens the hose up. This fucking deal right here is, I don't know, it's just, to me, this is something you would use on an airline. This is an airline fitting. Maybe it is a high pressure fitting, but I just don't see it happening here. Are we screwing on there? No, we're not. It's not screwing together, so something is definitely wrong with this setup. Let me go ahead and bring that in there now. Let's see. And it's just a hokey situation. It's not even fucking screwing together. It's such a fucking bitch. Okay, hold on. I might have something here. Let's see. Okay, let's go ahead and screw this together and see what happens. I think I got it started. I still don't like it. I still don't like it. And it doesn't look like it's staying on there. It looks like it's just pushing it out. So yeah, I don't think it's screwing on there. We're gonna find out here in a minute. Let's see. Okay. And there's our fitting. And I don't know if it's gonna stay on there long enough. No, it's not. So we'll have to go figure something else out. That's a shitty fucking deal there. Let me come back to you after I figure this out, because we're gonna get this to work one way or the other. And hopefully things will happen and we'll be starting our car up soon. Hopefully. Get this thing apart here so we can figure out how this goes. Because this is pure bullshit. Pure fucking bullshit. Well, we are back, and I actually figured out how these work. And I know there's people out there that already know how they work. These are actually high-pressure Teflon lines, and I'm going to show everybody else how they work. We will not be using these because they're a pain in the ass, but from what I understand, just by what I'm gathering, is you take this little knurl right here, this little sleeve, and it has to go inside here. So the only way I can figure out that this works is you have to cut some of the plastic seating off to separate the metal braid, and then this would slide down inside here. So it would go inside there like that. Of course, before you do that, this has to be on here like this. Okay, so you'd already have that on. Then you slide this down over the plastic tubing. You can see the tube in there. You would take that and push that in there to slide it down. And then once that's slid down, you would take this right here, and then you can kind of picture that with this on the hose. And then once you screw it all together like this, it would force itself open and give it an airtight fit. So are we going to use this? No, we're not. So that's actually a good design if you can get it to work. And after further investigation, they actually make a special crimp tool for this. I guess if you're going to do this every day, it would be great to have that crimp tool, but for a one-time or two-time use, possibly maybe once a year or once in a lifetime deal, no. I don't like this stuff. It's bullshit, and it's not going to work. Because remember what I told you a little while ago? We're doing this at home. We're doing this in our fucking garage at home, okay? So we will put that to the side, and then we will come over to my friend Pete's special. And what we're going to use, because if you look at this line here, this is the line they gave us for our return line, which is a black braided hose. So what I'm going to use is I am going to use a high pressure 5/16 hose, which is DOT certified. And the fitting that I'm going to use, you can see it right there. It basically goes on like an AN fitting. This screws on the opposite way. Remember I was telling you that. And then you screw this into the hose. And here's our other end, and that's our fitting. That's what we're going to be using right there. Because to be honest with you, I'm not looking to make a show car out of this. And even if I was, this particular hose that you're looking at right here, you don't even see it. You would have to get under the car, crawl up into the engine compartment to even see this thing. So by using this right here is not just a pain in the ass, but basically to me, it's kind of overkill, it's an overkill situation, and we won't be using that. Now, remember, all this came in a kit, so it does work. It's a good kit if you're going to use that. It's a nice design. It comes with all your fittings, blah, blah, blah. But I'm going to go ahead and oversee this, pass it up, and we're going to go ahead and use this right here. Alright, we finally got the power steering and the transmission hooked up. It was a pretty big job, believe it or not. And that's the situation you have with these. It's a very intricate job to take this motor and convert everything to put it in the vehicle of your choice. I went ahead and got the belt. I got that on. I replaced the tensioner pulley and the idler pulley. We went ahead and installed a brand new pulley onto the power steering, and when the owner got this motor, it didn't have a pulley on there, so we had to replace that, of course. If you look up here in the front of the camera, back of the camera, wherever you're looking, you'll see that I went ahead and put the radiator in. Very nice radiator, didn't have any problem with it as far as installation goes. It gives us plenty of room to move around in there. And once again, I'm going to say this motor really fits in here nice. I like the way that it looks, and I also like the way that it fits in here. We still have to get an air cleaner for this thing with a MAF sensor on it, mass airflow sensor. We can't start it yet until we get that. But let's go ahead and focus on the radiator itself for a minute. Like I said, mounting was very simple and easy. Did it by myself. 4 bolts, lined perfect. But we had a few problems with the radiator. Really just one problem that I wasn't happy with, and I want to show that to you. Now, I do want to let you know that the problems that I run into are my situations that I'm showing you how to fix it. That doesn't mean that the product that I purchased was bad. Very nice product. Very, very happy with it. I mean, when you can buy something and bolt it right in with no problems, it's a hell of a fucking real good situation. But if we get down here to the bottom of the radiator, you can see the type of line connections that we had to use. We had to use inverted flare line connections, just like if we were wiring up, just like if we were hooking up hard lines to the transmission from the factory. That's something I didn't like about the radiator. That's probably the only thing I didn't like, is that they didn't put bungs on there that had pipe thread on the end of it so you can convert it straight over to a number 6 AN fitting. I have gotten radiators before that have the pipe thread, I think it's 1/4 inch pipe thread to number 6 AN fitting. I predicted that's what this was, but I was wrong. So you can see how I had to make my hard lines come out. And then if we look at the back over here, I had to go ahead and put some crimped on fittings right here, neural fittings, whatever we want to call those, and then convert it over. So it was really a monstrosity to get this thing hooked up properly. Took a couple trips over to the hose company to buy the parts that I needed, and if the manufacturer of the radiator would have went ahead and put the 1/4 inch bungs on there instead of the inverted flare type fittings, we wouldn't have had to go through all this problem. But it does look professional. It looks really nice. I like the way it came out. I'm going to have to go ahead and secure them lines to make sure that they're solid mounted in there. And then I took some high pressure 5/16 hose. I went ahead and adapted down to a number 6 AN fitting. You can see it right there. We went all the way back to the transmission with our 5/16 pressure line. And then we used our adapter that we purchased from Muscle Car Hot Rods. What is that? Muscle Rods. MuscleRods.com. That item worked out really well. I'm really happy and satisfied with that. That's a plus if you are using this transmission, which is a 6L80 transmission. It's one of them big truck transmissions. You can see how big it is in there. And while we're under the floor, I do want to mention to you that to put this transmission in this car, we had to splice and dice the floor up to install it back into this car. So this was a plus situation. I thank God that they had this adapter. If they didn't have that adapter, I didn't know what I was going to do. I was pretty lost on the situation. And when I talked to Muscle Rods, I believe they just started to produce these. And that right there is a lifesaver if you are doing this type of a conversion. Our power steering hose line kit turned out to be a semi-good situation because it came with all the fittings. All the fittings that were necessary we got in our kit. The thing I wasn't happy with though was the pressure line that they gave us, the high pressure line, which is the 1/4-inch line that you see right here. And then of course you saw the problems we ran into with these fittings here trying to get them on there. And then once I figured out how those fittings worked, you can see that it was a pain in the ass to get them on there. If we were stuck on using this, believe me, I would have went ahead and used it. But I think that the manufacturer of this item here should go ahead and change this idea because of the reason a lot of people are going to be doing this as a DIY situation, and that's why you're watching this video. So to make it easier for the do-it-yourselfer guy at home that's doing it in his garage that doesn't have all the specialty tools, I would say that this setup actually fucking sucks. So basically what I did again is I went ahead and got some reusable number 6 AN fittings for my pressure line hose, which is a 5/16 hose. And you can see how I ran it just like the factory would run it over to our bracket that holds the hose in. And then of course it comes up and goes in to the back of the power steering pump itself. Our pressure line, that came out awesome. It looks good. I'm satisfied with that situation. So overall, the kit from MuscleRods.com, the power steering line kit, is a very good purchase just for the fact that you don't have to second guess the fittings that you need. It comes with all the fittings. But you will have to change this hose out, the pressure line, as you can see, to make it an easy wham bam thank you ma'am situation. So we've done a lot of stuff to this car since we've had it here. Big fucking job, big job. It's been an off and on situation for approximately a year. I don't work on cars from start to finish. I actually work on several cars at a time. As you can see, I got a 1977 Honda Civic here from California that I'm restoring for a person. And so what I'll do is I work on a car for a week or two, let the owner catch up on his money to buy the parts that he needs. And then in that meantime, I will go ahead and work on other cars to keep a paycheck rolling in over here at SWRNC. Now, in reality, if you have all the parts sitting in front of you and you have everything you need to install that engine in the car, to get it running and to get it driving, this is approximately, I would presume, a 2-week job. This would be a 2-week job to actually modify your car and to get all the parts you needed installed to make this conversion a kit that says, well done. Very expensive, once again, I want to stress on that. It's a very expensive conversion. Don't let anybody fool you. The radiator itself was very, very expensive. Did I have to go with this radiator? Possibly not, but being a 1966 Chevelle and having the LS2 motor in there, I wanted to go ahead and use a radiator that would bolt right up to this core support and actually be a radiator that is compatible with this drivetrain. That's a very, very important situation because we're talking about cooling, not just the motor, but the transmission as well on this particular application. Now that the power steering's hooked up, the transmission lines are hooked up, the radiator is installed, we got our air conditioning done. The next thing that we got to do is we got about an hour's worth of wiring over here on our air conditioning. We got approximately another hour, hour and a half to wire up our headlights, turn signals, and of course our dual fans to make sure that our cooling system works properly. We got to go ahead and get our air cleaner, what style we're going to use. The air cleaner that I want to use comes from a company called Street and Performance. Street and Performance is now out of business. The owner passed away several years ago. The company was run down into the ground. They're not open anymore. So I will have to look, search, and seizure so I can get an air cleaner with a MAF sensor on it that is going to plug and play into this engine so we can go ahead and hook it up and use it properly. I did notice that this motor didn't have a transmission dipstick. So we're going to have to order one of those from the dealership. Once we get that in there, we'll check the transmission fluid, possibly change the transmission fluid and filter for the owner. I went ahead and put 6 quarts of oil in for him. I put a brand new oil filter on it. In the meantime, what I'll do is I will go ahead and wire it up like I was talking about. I'll go ahead and install the inner fender back onto this vehicle. Once that's done, we'll get it off the jack stands that it's on, the roll-arounds, and we'll take it over to the muffler shop, get the exhaust put on so we can hook up our O2 sensors, because we can't start this car until the O2 sensors are hooked up. And since this is the stock factory exhaust manifolds and we're not putting headers on here, we have to have the exhaust hooked up with the bungs welded to the exhaust so we can go ahead and hook up our, yes, you got it, O2 sensors. Now, I want to go ahead and stress before I go, one more situation you got. You have to have a radiator that has a steam pipe connection. This is your steam pipe connection. Remember I showed you that before? I just wanted to focus on that one more time before we go, that this radiator is a qualified radiator to use when you're doing this application, because it's already ready to roll, rock, and get together so you can hook everything up. So I'm going to go ahead and finish out what I just showed you on here. Get it to the point where we got our dual exhaust on it with a crossover pipe. You always want to put either an X pipe or a crossover pipe on your dual exhaust on this motor to get the full flow exhaust that you can get. So remember, when you get dual exhaust on it, either a crossover pipe, an X pipe, or a crossover pipe. This is Pete, and I hope you enjoy this journey on putting the LS2 in the muscle car situation, and I hope that you are learning from this, and I hope that you don't look at my friend Pete as a jackass, because I run into problems too. Just like our bullshit high pressure hose system we had going here. I show you that kind of stuff because I want to let you know, the viewer, that this is not a perfect world and nobody is perfect in any way whatsoever. So yeah, that's the real deal, and that's why I show you the mistakes I make, or if I don't know what the fuck's going on, we go through the procedure of what we got to do to make it all work. We'll see you later. Take it easy. My friend Pete, your friend Pete, over here at Southwest Rod and Custom, doing the LS2 conversion, and hopefully everything's going to work out nice. Take it easy. Finally got the radiator hoses hooked up onto our engine and our radiator. Now that was a tricky combination there. I had to get actually several radiator hoses to find the combination that I needed. And basically what I'm talking about is this right here. I had to go over to the auto parts store and get several radiators. You can see the different curvature of bends in the radiator hoses as we're looking at them. I thought this one actually was a pretty good one for the bottom. And let me get my pattern. Where did it go? I had a pattern, a wire that I made. I don't know where the fuck it went. Now it's gone. The wire has disappeared on us and has grown legs and fucking walked away. I'm sorry. The wire's right there. So I made this wire, this kind of a diagram thing, and the way it looked was that would be the bottom of the hose, then it would come up here, and then it would go in right there. I found this hose out of all the hoses I could find, and it kind of had a similar S to it, so I decided to go ahead and grab it. I thought it was going to be too short, but actually it ended up being just right. So that's a Napa number part that you're looking at right there, number 708. And then on the top radiator hose, we got an 8991. Now the 8991 is actually a very long hose and you'll have to cut to fit. But if you are working on this body style car that you're looking at right here, let's say late 60s, mid 60s to late 60s, and you're doing what I'm doing, those are the two hoses that you're going to need to hook your radiator up. And then we're not going to forget about this hose right here. This is our steam pipe hose, which goes down to the heads and releases the pressure off the heads. We need that. That's a must. Make sure you hook that up. So the radiator is now all hooked up. It's a done deal. I think I got pretty lucky on that lower radiator hose. The next thing we're going to do is go ahead and hook up our fresh air intake. So what I'm going to do to fulfill the application I need to give us the fresh air intake that I want, what you're going to look at inside this box right here is a bunch of parts. Now this is a kit that I purchased on eBay. It cost me around 75 bucks. This is a $75 kit, and it's an aftermarket kit that's designed for the LS2. And what you get is you get the filter. Of course, you get the fitting for the filter that will adapt it down, the adapter, to the 3 or 4 inch pipe, whatever we got here. And then on this particular pipe, you can see right here, this is where your MAF sensor, your mass airflow sensor, will screw onto so your computer can read. Now, this is going to go on our intake, on our throttle body, you might say. It's going to go like this. All right, the throttle body facing me. This will face out toward the driver's side, and then we'll have the filter on the end like that. It also comes with all of the AeroQuip style. When I say AeroQuip, I want to show you, or should I say aviation, aircraft, whatever you want to call it, fittings, all right? Everything's in here to do what we need to do. We also get this fancy metal bracketry set that's going to bolt in there somehow if we can use it to give us that fresh air intake that we need. I'm suspecting that I'm going to have to make my own bracket for this to make it work. The only problem that I have using this system like this is that there is not a fine screen built inside that tube. If you look at the factory intake, there's a screen on the end where the MAF sensor is, the mass airflow sensor. There's a screen so big debris cannot get inside the motor. This is just basically a straight tube and an air filter, and that's it. This is what it's like when you do this kind of job. I can't stress enough how big of a job this is, and head turner when it comes to this kind of stuff. Doing the fine-tuned stuff, getting to the end of the project, and figuring out the puzzle to make it all work is a lot of stress and a lot of strain. So what I'm going to do is you basically got the idea of what's involved in installing this engine in the car. I'm going to go ahead and finish it out and get it to the point of starting the vehicle up. And if I run into any more problems whatsoever, I will point them out as we find them. So this is Pete, my friend Pete, your friend Pete, installing the LS2 into the Chevy Chevelle 1966, and hoping it's going to be done very soon. We'll see you later.
Thanks for watching D.I.Y. Automotive School. Classes don't stop till you know